Wikipedia tells, Berlin Ostkreuz is a station on the Berlin S-Bahn suburban railway and the busiest interchange station in Berlin.
Andreas thinks, for many, Berlin is only the part of the city that lies within the Ringbahn. Everything outside this circle of influence more or less doesn't exist or is only known by hearsay.
Moritz says, then let's move a little to the east and see what we find beyond this border.
Andreas notes, for some of our students, the former dog biscuit factory and now the Club Sisyphus is the place to leave their studies behind for a night now and then.
Moritz explains, club culture and electronic music is certainly a very important part of the famous Berlin vibe. And I'm pretty sure that it will survive the pandemic-related closure.
Andreas remarks, you haven't been to Berlin if you haven't seen this iconic building and heard a concert in one of the recording studios of the Funkhaus Nalapasstrasse.
Wikipedia knows, when a visitor enters the building's generous foyers with open staircases and representative entrance halls open up to him. The builders succeeded in creating an acoustically perfect building that still attracts musicians and orchestras from all over the world for studio recordings. The studio building is considered the largest contiguous studio complex in the world.
Moritz knows, now we have reached the halfway point of our journey and we have to head 3 more kilometers in the eastern direction to reach our final destination.
Wikipedia says, Späti is a term used especially in East German cities for a kiosk that is open outside normal shop opening hours, often around the clock.
Andreas quips, too lazy to remember supermarket opening times? We have Spätis.
Moritz raves, I love Spätis. They are an important part of Berlin's cityscape and the ultimate meeting place for people from all walks of life.
Wikipedia tells, with almost 14,000 students, the HTW Berlin is the largest state university of applied sciences in Berlin and Eastern Germany. There are about 70 study programs in the fields of technology, computer science, business, culture and design.
Moritz notes, the campus is very rich in historical heritage. It combines Berlin's industrial history prior to and throughout the GDR with today's idea of a modern university and think tank. Within the communication design program, we work with new media and technologies and address the question how design can face future societal challenges. In our laboratories and workshops, the installation setups are created in iterative development steps from the initial idea to the finished exhibit.
Andreas states, communication design is a broad field. My job is to get my students to do things that no one has done before, with technologies that are still unused in design, and to play with the gap between design and art together with them. And did I say the Funkhaus is iconic? Well, then a new term must be invented for this cathedral of industrial culture.
Wikipedia states, the Peter Behrens building was inaugurated in 1917 and was the tallest building in Germany at the time apart from church towers.
Moritz says, I am fascinated and impressed by this architecture whenever I come here. Definitely an insider tip in Berlin.
Wikipedia explains, the filigree iron truss construction was one of the most important achievements of engineering around 1900. In the last days of the Second World War, SS units blew up the Kaisersteg. The new construction from 2007 shortens the way to the railway station for the students, just as its predecessor did 100 years ago for the workers of the industrial area.
Andreas says, "This cafe is part of my university life. My day often starts and ends here."
Moritz tells, this beautiful cafe is located in direct neighborhood to our exhibition venue.
The foundation writes, "The Rheinweg-Hallen are part of a listed building ensemble. For decades, the factory grounds served as a production site for transformers and high-voltage equipment."
Andreas tells, "I lived within sight of these halls for a few years, which were empty and abandoned at the time, and it is fantastic to see how they are now dedicated to promoting art, culture and education."
Moritz comments, "We are very pleased to have the 900 square meters of the large exhibition hall available to display all of the projects created by students during the pandemic. And we welcome everyone to the Ars Eletronica Garden Berlin in September."